Hello, hello, my friends. I am so excited to be able to come to you live, large and in charge here today on a Thursday. I think it's Thursday. Beautiful Thursday here in Las Vegas. Our friend Amber Coleman's going to be joining us shortly to talk a little bit about free money programs. But mainly the reason we wanted to do this was, we noticed that the news and numbers came out about inflation. Things were definitely more bleak than anybody was than some people were expecting. And so we decided to jump on here and do a talk about free money, because we know that when the going gets tough and the news gets more negative, we need to get more positive. And what's more positive than the thought of free money, right? So she's having some technical difficulty. She's going to be joining us live just in a few minutes. So I'm excited about that. I wanted to just encourage you before she jumps on here of a few things. Please drop your questions in the comments box below or to the side, whatever you happen to be watching us on. We really want to be able to make this time about you and for you to be able to fulfill and answer any questions that you might have about what's going on with the market. Should I buy now? Am I an idiot to spend money on a house in Las Vegas? Like, anything you want to ask, we'll happily answer. The other thing I wanted to tell you is that I am currently nominated for Best Realtor in Las Vegas, rightfully so. And I wanted to see if I could get your help with winning that title. So I've put at the bottom of the screen here, vote for me now. All you have to do is go to votebolv.com/expand. Also, I've put that in the comment box as well, so you can click the links there. Basically, at the end of the day, Amber Coleman and I are constantly focused on, really trying to bring you the news, the positivity, the good in what's happening out there. Because believe it or not, it really is a good time to buy a house right now. I know that it may not look like that when it comes to watching the news. I know it may not look like that when it comes to listening to online naysayers and people who are using clickbait titles to get your attention. So we're really trying to do clickbait in the positive way to make sure that you understand that, it really is actually a very good, crunchy granola, amazing time to buy right now. I love saying that because at the end of the day, we have people call us really, and we're grateful that you call, and we're grateful that you guys reach out, but we have you call us with some of the most scary thoughts and really, unfortunately, backwards thoughts when it comes to what you should be doing right now with your money. So we're here to really educate you, bring a positive light to what's happening, and really be honest. At the end of the day, honesty has been our main focus, and we're really trying to make sure that we bring that to you each and every day so that we can, shed some light where there is nothing but darkness. So again, just a quick reminder, if you want to comment on our video, you want us to answer questions about anything related to living in Vegas, buying a house, anything like that, please make sure that you are commenting in the comments box below, and we'll certainly answer your questions. I did a live stream on Tuesday with my amazing team, and we talked about kind of free money, free things that are being given away from sellers and from builders for buyers. If you haven't watched that, I highly encourage you to go and watch it. It was super fun. We did kind of a view set up on this couch where we had 3 or 4 of us that were answering questions and giving you kind of our opinion and what we're really seeing out there. But more so than ever, it's just super exciting to be able to bring good news when others don't think there's anything good to talk about. So I want to say hi to a few of you that are joining me live while we're waiting for Amber to come online. Lionel, are you counting out my free money? You're the best. It's nice to be recognized. Hey, Lionel, thanks for joining us. Hey, Belinda, thanks for joining us. Wanted to say hi also to Thelma. She did a phone call with us this week to discuss her options for buying a house. And she was one of the people who joined us on our most recent relocation webinar that we did on Saturday. That's going to be something that we're going to be doing a lot more often, Amber and I, as we move forward into the last part of the year. If anything, the last quarter of the year is when you can actually get some of the best deals on buying houses. Also, first quarter of the year is because a lot of these builders are trying to wrap up their books. A lot of these sellers are trying to get out of that house before the holidays. So we're really trying to leverage what's going in your favor and really push it out there to the forefront. So if you are thinking about moving to Vegas or investing in Vegas, last quarter of the year is an amazing time to do so. And then the first quarter of the year as well. So we'll walk through some of that. Let's see. Hi, Martha G. Hello. I know credit score is one of the most important things when considering to buy. What credit score is okay if you don't have the best one? So while we wait for Amber Coleman to join us, again, she was having some technical difficulty. So I hope she makes it. But if not, you got me. And that should be good enough. Martha, I'll answer that question right now, actually. Believe it or not, and I don't know if this is due to COVID, or I have a feeling it's probably due to the COVID pandemic stuff that we went through recently. Credit score, like the low bar for credit score and kind of what they require you to have, has been lowered in a lot of ways and across a lot of programs. So while we're going to be talking about free money programs and free grant programs today, I'm super excited about that. What's awesome to know is that even if you're not eligible for some of those things, your credit score can be as low as, I believe, 580 for an FHA loan. I think 580. I'm pretty sure 580 is the lowest. Some of the conventional loans have lowered them as well. And we'll have Amber give us kind of the the scoop and the skinny on what those look like so that we get all the truth. But I do know that 580 is the lowest that I've seen. And even so, honestly, even with that, you're probably higher than a 580. Trust me when I tell you. A lot of people think that, when you're getting your credit checked and you're looking into things for getting a loan, that you have to have 20% down. And even someone I just spoke to yesterday who has bought a home before thought that they needed 20% down in order to be able to buy a house. And I'm like, you bought a home before. Like, I know you don't know that's true. Same thing goes for credit. A lot of people think, oh, Credit Karma said my credit is 610, and I know I won't be able to qualify for a good rate at that. But what you need to know is that's not the number that the lenders are looking at. That's not anything near what they're trying to give you or trying to utilize as far as qualifying you for a loan. They use a different program and a different system and a different way of looking at things. So while Credit Karma and those online websites that kind of give you access to that information to monitor your credit, that's not going to be typically the true score for what's really going on. So it's really exciting to be able to kind of bring to you guys the kind of the highlights of, hey, aha, did you know this? And help you open your eyes to what's really possible. When it comes to the free money programs, we are constantly trying to tell our clients, whether you work with Amber Coleman or not, whoever you do choose to work with when it comes to getting a loan for a home, you really need to know that asking those hard questions and pushing for as much as you can get is really your job. And hopefully if you work with our team, our realtor team is going to be pushing you to do the same. So you don't ask, you don't receive what you won't ask for, right? Squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? I'm so bad at those analogies. I'm literally terrible. I always make them the opposite of what they're supposed to be. But at the end of the day, just know that there's an opportunity for you if you're willing to ask for it. Even if it's like, I just want to know what my credit is. If you're willing to put yourself out there and ask the question, then you're going to be in a situation where you get as much possible free stuff. And a lot of times, a lot of people think, oh, well, I'm already taking advantage of one free program, I can't get this one too. Not true at all. You can actually layer and stack a lot of programs when it comes to buying a house and getting a loan. So as I mentioned, Amber was having some technical difficulties, so I wanted to go ahead and go on live because I knew we had several people waiting in the waiting room. We are broadcasting, just so you know, on both of our Facebook pages as well as LinkedIn, I believe, right now, and YouTube. So I don't know where you're watching from, but please, if you are watching anywhere other than YouTube, or honestly, even if it's on YouTube, comment and let us know where you are watching from so that we know, where we found you and where you found us. It's just exciting to see that we have the ability to broadcast across so many platforms all at once and really have the chance to reach as many of you as possible. All right, let me go down here. Martha says, is that on the Fico score? Yeah, so as far as, Belinda's saying credit's terrible. Yeah, I was just talking about Fico score. So yeah, basically they're going to be pulling the score for you as far as your credit goes, and they're going to be using a totally different system and a totally different process to help approve you for a loan. All righty, don't forget to vote for me, guys. All right, let me see if I can get Amber in here. Just a second. Looks like she is still waiting. So while we're waiting for her to join us, hi, Thomas. Thank you for joining. How are the credit valued for international buyers? I know that Amber's talked about this a few times on our live streams, and it's really good to know. So it's always different when you're international. You do have to establish some sort of credit in the United States. What I love about Amber and her team is that she's not afraid to sit down and talk to you about, here's what you need to do. And it's usually a 3 or 4 step process that's very easy and very accessible. So make sure that you are planning to chat with us if you really want to move forward and consider the possibilities. We don't ever pressure you. We don't ever push you to do anything that you're not ready for. It's really, really important for us to know that, and for you to know that, this is just a discovery call, if you will, and it's free. We're a free resource. So I don't have all the details on international buyers. I do know you do need to secure some form of credit in the U.S. So make sure that you are, looking into that with Amber, and she can give you the steps that you need to do to get that going. Sometimes it's just as simple as opening a secured credit card where you pay yourself money to spend and then, pay it back each month. And that showcases and starts to build a little bit of that credit. But she's probably got a much more detailed program. Corbin says, hi, Lacey. My question is how to prepare to move to Vegas from out of state. How much can I do before I physically get there? Do most people arrive first, then look to buy, or start from out of state? Really great question. Thank you so much, Corbin. That is actually one of my favorite things to walk through with our clients. When we are answering questions about, or when we're looking at the process, about buying a home, relocating you from one place to another, really getting your feet into the ground here in Las Vegas, it's really about your situation, right? So if let's pretend you're transferring your job from one place to the next, or you were told that you can continue to work from home thanks to COVID, and now you have the flexibility to be able to do so. What's amazing about that is that, you have the ability to start your shopping while you're already sitting in your current home. I'm not a person who could typically buy a house without going physically to see it, but we have created an experience and have been doing it longer than most agents here in town, where we have had, I could say, close to 50 to 60 people actually purchase a home just from seeing it, from a video tour that we've done. And we don't just do one, we do very detailed tours. We walk you through, we do FaceTime, we send you the videos so that you can rewatch them and things like that. So the goal truly would be, you can do anything from there or here. It's really about what's your preference and what's your, your goal. But if you are in a hurry to buy a house in Vegas, our goal would be, we do an introductory call. We start to set you up on a drip campaign where you can start to look at homes that might be of interest to you. And then you kind of click through those and start to identify which ones are interesting, which ones you want to maybe take a little bit of a deeper look at. If you can't get out to Vegas quickly, we go out there and we look at those homes for you. We preview them. We'll do a video tour, very detailed. We'll send you the videos so you can rewatch them and zoom in. We can ask questions, go back and forth. If we think, because of the market and how it's shifted now, if we think that there's an opportunity for you to want to make an offer, then we would ask you then, hey, do we want to make the offer, get it accepted, and then have you come out here for a trip in between the time that we went into escrow and when your due diligence is up. Your due diligence period is a really great period of time after you open escrow on a house, after your offer is accepted and you send in your earnest money, that allows you to change your mind for any reason. So it could be based on an inspection. It could be because there were, there was another house that popped up that you really loved and you want that one instead of this one. Although we don't recommend canceling for that reason. We try to be pretty solid on the one that we're offering. So you truly could, from your home, find the house, have us tour it, put an offer, get into contract, and then we would encourage you, if it was at all possible, to make your way physically out here to actually look at the home and make sure, we're still on board with the house. I'm a fan of actually being able to walk you through a few homes when you're looking at homes out here. So, we can do that digitally, like I said, or we can have you plan a trip as a reversal process, plan a trip to come out here, spend a couple of days together in the car, going from one neighborhood to the next, walking you through kind of the lifestyle benefits of each area. And then we decide, did we find the house of your dreams on this trip? If we didn't, the good news though is if you do it that way, you have a little bit more of a lay of the land of neighborhoods. We have a reference point. So when we talk to you a month later and you say, hey, we were looking at that house last month. Remember that neighborhood I really liked? Great. This one popped up. It looks like it's down the street. What are your recommendations based on, or what are your thoughts based on what we saw before? So having a trip and a house tour process happening before we move forward, or if you don't find a house, having that baseline as far as like comments and feedback and really like knowing kind of the vibe between each other and what you really like and don't like is super helpful. It doesn't have to always be that way. So really you can do anything you want before or after you move here, but we highly recommend that you don't move here and then start looking. It's really something that we try to help our clients understand, is that the rental market is at an all-time high right now. People are paying out the yin yang for stuff that's just not worth what they're paying for. And we would rather see you put that money towards a down payment or put that money towards something else rather than signing on for a lease or a short-term lease or even trying to do Airbnb. We don't want you to waste your money. So if we can get away with looking at homes before you get here or looking at homes during a trip and then, following up and finishing the process after, that is preferred. So I hope that made sense. I know I was all over the place, but it's really up to you. The good news is we're able to cater that to your liking and whatever you're going to lean into. So hope that makes sense. We do have a good blend of people that do it both ways, and it's worked well anyway in all ways that we've chosen because our team is adaptable. So to be honest with you, we were one of the first teams in Las Vegas to be selling homes digitally. What I mean by that is we were one of the first teams to come up with the ability to do, probably because we do so much media and things like that, come up with the ability to do a detailed house tour, to do a walkthrough, really give you that experience that, while you aren't here in person, you kind of feel like you are. So I'm really proud of that. And I like to encourage people to take advantage of it whenever they can. So I hope that answered your question, Corbin. Thank you guys for vamping with me for a minute here. I'm not sure what's happening with Miss Amber, but I'm just going to keep checking my phone and make sure she's good. She may not be able to join us after all, and that's totally okay. If that's the case, though, we're definitely going to have to go live to talk about free money as well, like when she is able to join. The other thing I was going to tell you guys before I go on to some of your other questions is, a lot of people assume that you have to make very little money or that you have to have weird credit or you have to have some extenuating circumstance to take advantage of free money programs. But what I want to let you know is they're actually coming out with new programs each and every day. Like I think there's one called Home Means Nevada that just came out this week that I'm hoping that she talks about, that is just extremely easy to access. There's also really cool programs that offer free money for rural areas of town. And I'm going to tell you, there's some areas that are called rural They're absolutely not rural. They're 5 minutes from everything else in town. So it's just interesting how some of these grant programs and free money programs have been identified and kind of outlined, because it really, if you know how to use it and look at it and use the angles in your favor, if you will, it's kind of neat to see it all come to life. So, all right, let me look at some other questions here while we wait for Amber to join us. Hey, Lionel, Templeton, California here, just north of San Luis Obispo. Ariana says, our home prices dropping in Las Vegas. We rent a 1-bedroom for nearly $2,000 on Fort Apache and Sahara. Hey, Ariana. So good news for you. Home listing prices are definitely nudging down and equalizing, which is amazing. Home values, on the other hand, which is what they're actually valued at, have not really seen a huge dip, which is really amazing. So a lot of people have been leaning into, I'm excited for a crash. I can't wait for the market to crash so I can buy a $5 million house for $40,000. That's not happening. It's not happening. It's not happening. It's not happening. It's never going to happen. What will happen, though, is we're going to see an adjustment on the market. We're going to see a little bit of an equalization, so that you can see that, sellers who were once listing super duper high to get people to outbid and then hope for even more money out of your pocket into theirs, are actually being more reasonable when they list their home. They're listing it closer to the home value, if not below home value, to get it sold. We've got a lot more opportunity from an inventory perspective. So Ariana, if you're currently renting a 1-bedroom for $2,000, I almost threw up in my mouth when I read your question. Please, please, please do yourself a favor. There's no pressure. Please click the link in the description or at the top of the comments and call our team today. It's not about home prices dropping that you need to worry about. It's what we can get out of the current homes that are on the market, and also free money programs, and also grant programs, and just everything else that we can apply to your situation that may not make it so that the house prices have to drop in order for you to be able to afford it. Even if you don't have a penny saved, I promise you, please reach out to us. What we're seeing on the market right now is a lot of sellers are in a position to where they're already made up their mind they're going to sell that house. They've got to leave. They've got to move for whatever reason. And so they're willing to, even if they've listed it lower than they wanted, they're willing to pay your closing costs, which saves you money on having to save money for the down payment. Sometimes they'll even buy your rate down, which gives you the ability to qualify for more. And even new home builders are doing that, which is really amazing. So we're seeing so much almost give on the other side that it's not going to last forever. It's absolutely not going to last forever. So I don't care if you're in a lease for another 2 years, you need to call us. We can either help you negotiate your way out of that lease, or we can figure out a way to make the benefit of buying out of that lease offset what you're going to get when it comes to buying the house. If you're paying $2,000 for a 1-bedroom, that should be an alarm to all of you watching, that moving here first and renting for a little while before you buy is the worst possible decision you could make. And that truly making the decision now, doing the work in advance, doing a little bit of a tandem experience with our team, looking at homes from afar, popping into Vegas to see some in person when you can, is absolutely the way to go. So the answer to the question being direct is yes, home prices have started to come down a little bit, which is wonderful because there's more on the market to choose from. And interest rates are rising, which means there's less buyers, right? So you being the buyer means you are someone that they're not going to want to let go of, and they're going to do what they can to keep you in contract. But home values, I just want to reiterate, values of the homes are not dropping, not tremendously, at least from what I've seen yet. We get new reports once a month. So I'll let you know if that changes next month. I hope that answered your question, Ariana. And if I don't hear from you today or this week, I'm going to be very upset. That's all I have to say. Very upset. Okay. Thank you for that question, though. Wonderful. Hey, Oscar C. Love. Hey, checking in. Hey, Thomas Johansson says, if a house is being paid in cash, will it have influence on future credit? Meaning on your FICO credit score, or because really credit is all dependent upon, debt, income, late payments, things like that. Thomas, can you clarify your question? If that's what you were asking, then a house being paid for in cash should not have an effect or an influence on your credit at all. It will affect your, when it comes to qualifying for any loans in the future, it'll affect you positively from an asset perspective, because you own an asset, that's, not on a balance sheet. So you actually own it free and clear, which is something that works in your favor from that perspective. I hope that answered your question. Great questions. Okay, Martha, if relocating currently in California and I can't get a job transfer, would have to get a new job, is that possible? Or should it be better to commute? And after how long would you be able to switch jobs? So you're able to switch jobs. If you need to get a job in Las Vegas, I highly recommend focusing on, that new job search as quickly as possible. A lot of employers are actually paying for you to transfer your job. Sorry, I'm going to just check my phone and make sure Amber's okay. A lot of people are actually offering to transfer you and pay for your relocation right now. So, but if you're not able to get a job transfer, within your industry or within your current role, and you're looking for a new gig, the one thing to keep in mind is that you want to, try to stick within the industry that you've always worked in, or the type of job, I should say. So for instance, if you're a marketing person and you go from marketing pharmaceuticals in California to marketing a casino here in Las Vegas, perfect. That's awesome. What does sort of come into play is when you switch industries and jobs completely. Like you went from being a baker in California and now you're an auto engineer. So those two things don't necessarily look like they're in the same industry, same type of job. And that might take a little more finagling to get you approved for your loan. I'm thinking Amber might not be able to join us because she must have seriously had issues with getting on her computer. So I'm just going to keep rolling. I hope you guys are okay with just me today. I don't have a ton of info on the free money, but there is a lot of free money out there to be had that I'll talk about here in just, again, a minute. So I hope that helped you with your question there, Martha. The bottom line is commuting can get expensive, right? I mean, yes, you live in California, so that's easy. That's kind of great. But honestly, as long as you're within the same type of job, which we can always finagle, you should be fine to be able to get a loan, no matter how quickly you want to buy after moving here with a new job. So if you got a new job 5 minutes or 5 months or 5 days after you moved here, you don't have to wait a long time to be able to buy again. A lot of people think that you have to be in the same job for 2 full years before you actually are able to qualify for a loan. That's completely false. It's the same job type or industry, and they want to just show that you didn't just switch from being a baker to a mechanic and then realize that you hated it after being a mechanic for 5 days and then quit, and they just loaned you, $100,000 to buy a house. Now you're going to quit and you can't pay the bill. So that's really the reasoning behind that. So I hope that answered your question. Congratulations, Martha. I hope you are making your way here. And if you're thinking about it, just talk to us now. Click the link in the description or click the link at the top of the comments. I want to make sure that you have all the information that's really going to pertain to your specific situation. Asking questions on YouTube is one thing, but having a one-to-one call is going to really get you that nitty-gritty, deep down information that you need, hopefully. All right. Belinda, what area would you suggest, Henderson or Summerlin? Belinda, I love you. Thank you for asking this question. Okay, so there is the age-old Henderson or Summerlin conversation that happens every day. There's a lot of rivalry on each side of town. Not really. The reality is both of those areas of town are amazing. I'm a Henderson girl because I grew up over on that side of town. A lot more rolling hills, a lot more grass, things like that. But Summerlin's legit, and I hang out there a lot now as an adult. So there's really no right answer to that. It's really what's going to serve your lifestyle. Are you an outdoorsy person? Do you want to be at Red Rock every weekend hiking? Are you going to be up at Mount Charleston, in the snow during the ski season? If so, then Summerlin's probably a better fit for you. If you're not that and you're more of a golf person, or you're more of a lake person, or you don't do any outdoors, anything, and you just love shopping and eating, any of them will work. But really, Henderson might be the way you want to lean. The other thing to keep in mind too is that it's not just Henderson and Summerlin. We have North Las Vegas, Boulder City, Old Henderson, New Henderson, Inspirada, which is up at the end of Henderson. You've got Summerlin, South Summerlin, North Summerlin, Northwest, Sky Canyon. There's so much more to the city than just Henderson or Summerlin. And I want to highly encourage you to look outside of those areas, even if it's a block outside of those areas, because you save money on HOA. You don't deal with some of the traffic that comes with being in the center of those really popular areas, and you save money on the house. So it's really exciting. All right. I'm going to talk a little bit more before answering some more questions. Please drop your questions in the comment box below. I don't know if Sweet Amber is going to join us, so I'm going to keep on talking for a little bit longer. We will do another round of this with her I don't know what was going on with the computer system, but we will do another round if need be to talk about specific free money grant programs. That was our goal today until the computer started acting up. But I'm going to talk about free money that's out there for you right now when it comes to builders and when it comes to sellers. So let's pretend that you were thinking about buying a house last year. You're a first-time home buyer, or maybe not, but let's pretend you were a first-time home buyer. And you started looking at houses about a year ago. And you started the process, and I'm going to look at new homes, and these are right in my budget. And now you're looking at those same, and you pulled out of the system because you couldn't compete. You didn't have $50,000 laying around to overbid the next guy, because we got into a situation with money being so cheap to borrow last year, COVID making it available for everyone and their mom to work from wherever they want to work from, gave people an opportunity to actually relocate and go to a different area of the world and live and work and thrive and do whatever they want. So it was like kind of the great migration across the nation, in my opinion. Everybody decided, well, if I don't have to pay $3,000 a month for an apartment next to the beach that I never go to because I'm constantly working or in traffic, then I'm going to go live in Vegas, my second favorite place to live or to be, and live much more cheaply, pay less taxes, and get more bang for my buck out of my job. That happened. That's what really honed in on, along with low interest rates, on the migration of everybody wanting to move here, which is an amazing thing and awesome. But if you were a buyer last year that had to step out of the game, or honestly weren't even a buyer yet, but you were just like, I can't do this. There's no way I can compete. Now is the time for you to consider competing. And actually, it's not even competing. Now's the time to step back in. Home sellers right now are in a position where, because there is so much more inventory that has hit the market. Do you guys know why inventory has hit the market? I'd love if there was like a Q&A experience here, because I would love to get the feedback, because I would tell you most people think they know, but the reality is you really don't. And it's something that Amber and I are preaching all the time. When we are constantly telling you to be greedy when others are fearful and be fearful when others are greedy, last year, a lot of people got greedy. But what really happened was a lot of people sat back with their arms crossed saying, I'm going to wait. Oh, my buddy down the street listed and he got $70,000 more than what he should have for the same house I have, but my floors are better and my pool's better and whatever, right? We saw a lot of people doing this thinking that they were experts on the market. And what's going on with that is while all their neighbors and everybody around them was listing and making money and taking advantage of the really skyrocketing market, they were trying to time it perfectly and didn't do that very well at all. They waited 1 minute too long. The market peaked, and then market kind of started to level off and go down because interest rates changed which nobody was expecting. I don't know why. I was, but nobody else was. And then they started to list their house as quickly as possible to try to take advantage while they can before the city crashes and there's no more money to be had, and now they're out completely. So what we're seeing right now is a lot of people rushing to market to get listed because they waited too long. On top of less buyers on the market. So this is sort of normal quantities of homes and inventory to be choosing from right now, which is amazing. But the problem is we had too many buyers before. So you had not enough homes, too many buyers, and money was too cheap. Now we're in a position where money's not cheap. So the people who were just kind of buying a house just to buy a house because they felt like buying a house, not the people who needed a home, not the people who wanted a home because they were dying and saving and scraping to get there. Those buyers went away. So now we're only a playground really for real buyers who really need to buy a home. Interest rates are not horrible. Not yet anyway. I'm hoping they don't get there. They are pretty normal to what we were getting before pre-COVID days, right? So a lot of people get this skewed perception of, well, I'm not getting a deal, so I'm out. So that leaves more for you to choose from. But because so many people mistime the market from listing their home, waiting and seeing if their buddy's going to make more so they can even get more than them, they're now stuck with houses that are sitting on the market longer than they want. They're now competing with people who are undercutting their immediate listing price, and they are validly walking in saying, I know I'm not going to make 70 grand more than it's worth because that was that market and that's not this market. So you have an opportunity as a buyer right now to really take advantage of a lot of free money, free stuff. If the rates are scaring you, well, that's nice, Lacey, but the rates, I can only qualify for 300,000 because the rates are so high. If the rates were down at 3.99%, I'd be able to get 380,000 and I actually could qualify for the home I want. Good news for you. You should never buy down your rate, but sellers are buying down people's rates every single day to help them qualify for the house, get a little bit more for their money, and feel like they're actually getting that deal so they can actually walk into this market and take advantage of it. They're also paying for closing costs. Closing costs can be anywhere from 1 to 2 to 3% of what you're paying for the entire home. It could be $7,000 to $10,000. $5,000 to $12,000. It just, whatever the price point of your home is, take that percentage and identify that that's going to be kind of what you might be paying out of pocket. But if you're in a situation where you can buy right now, to where the seller is not only going to help you buy your rate down, which is sometimes $15,000 or more, they're going to give you money for that and they're going to cover your closing costs. Now you're in. Now you don't have to save as much money. Now you don't have to worry about the rate. And now you can go shopping with the mentality of, well, I'm only going to buy this house if they're willing to do these things. And then you can really sift through the inventory and move forward. So you've got sellers that are out there that, again, tried to mistime the market, who are now getting desperate because they committed to selling their house. Now they got to get it done, and they're willing to do whatever they need to keep you in contract. On the other side of that, we've got new home builders that are, for lack of a better word, scared of the fact that they're coming up to the end of their fiscal year. And if you know anything about business, businesses operate on budgets and, they project what their income is going to be. And they've all projected that they were going to have a stellar slam dunk year until about the middle of this year because they were oversold. There were no communities that were building or building fast enough to keep up with demand. There were no communities with fallout, standing inventory, or people were getting into new homes because it was like free money times free money. And then they ran out of homes because lumber and appliances and windows and things like that got delayed due to COVID, right? So another weird kind of situation. Now, starting June, July, August, these builders started seeing people cancel because they can't qualify for the homes anymore at the current rates that have gone up. So instead of saving a lot of those cancels with those clients that they already have in contract, they stepped out, they kept their earnest money, or whatever happened is what happened. Now they're in a position where they're sitting here with a bunch of houses on the market that they didn't plan to have. They're coming up on the end of that year, that budget. They want to get that bonus like they planned on. They already planned that house they were going to buy, that boat they're going to buy, that trip they're going to take. They're trying to close out this year strong, even though they got dealt a different hand in the middle of the year. And so a lot of these builders are getting desperate, and they're not necessarily reducing prices on the homes. That's happening a little bit for like standing inventory, homes that were already built by someone else, about to be finished, and then got canceled because the person couldn't qualify anymore with the new rates. So they're doing the same thing. They're reducing some of the prices on the standing inventory home. They're coming out with amazing, awesome offers. Like, we'll give you $10,000 towards closing costs. We're going to also pay for your rate to be 3.99%. So if you only qualify for a 7% rate, they're telling you they're going to get it down to 3.9%. You know how much money that is? That's crazy amounts of money that goes right into your pocket. It also elevates your budget. So you might be able to get that house that you wanted with the 5 bedrooms instead of the 3, right? They're also giving design incentives. Hey, if you want to build a home with us, we want to make sure we're banking on our future. We're not just focusing on what people are buying today to get rid of the inventory that's sitting on the market. We've got to keep building for next year. So they're asking people, if you're going to enter into a contract and buy a new home with us, guess what? We're going to give you $25,000 to spend on the floors you want and the cabinets you want and the blah, 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 right? So on both sides of this fence, it's a beautiful, awesome granola, crunchy, lovely, beautiful moment. It's like a sundae on a Sunday with some chocolate whipped cream on top. You as a buyer have the I don't know, you have the power, and we want to help you activate that. It's really important to know, if you're looking at new homes, that you work directly with our team before you go to the new home builder. We've also got access to reports that we can give you that let you look at everything all at once instead of having to like search online and figure out who's offering what. We've got all that information in one place. And then from a resale perspective, we get a lot of people that go on Zillow and think that they're going to find their house first and then they're going to call a realtor. That's not the way it should be done. Zillow doesn't have the updated information we do. So I want to just encourage you that if you're even thinking about maybe blinking an eye at what I'm talking about today, to take advantage of free money for you in the system right now, waiting for you to grab it and take it and put it in your pocket, please, please, please do not move forward anymore without working with our team. I think... Hello.
Hey.
I think I got Miss Amber here. How are you?
Good. How are you? Can you hear me?
Good, girl. I've been talking up a storm without you by myself today, but I'm so excited because
well, Mercury is retrograde right now, and I'm feeling it with the technology. Okay,
girl. I said that. I was like, this girl's having some tech problems. And I'm so grateful you came on. I just basically finished up talking about all the wonderful, crunchy, juicy things that are happening in the market, right? So buyers are giving away free money. The builders are giving away free money. I talked about why we are in the situation we're in right now. And there's been some great questions about Fico Score and about, what people need to do. But I've been super stoked to talk about some of the free money programs that people can take advantage of. And I'm hoping you can talk to us about.
Yes, I'm happy to talk about them. And I'm excited for the people that usually use these free programs. So there's a new one that's coming out in about a week or two. And me and Lacey are going to be right on YouTube telling you all about it when it's coming out. But the one that I'm taking huge advantage of right now, that you couldn't really take advantage of during COVID just because of the way things were, right? Yep. It's a first-time home buyer grant. So this grant is strictly for first-time home buyers. And remember, first-time home buyer is considered if you haven't had a house in 3 years, right? Nice. So then you're a first-time home buyer.
So you can have purchased a home before as long as it wasn't within the last 3 years.
Yeah, well, you had to sell it, and not have a house in the last 3 years, right? Okay. Or just be a straight first-time home buyer where you've never had a house before. So what this program does is it has income limits. It has restrictions on how much you can buy depending on what side of town. But the rate on this program, the people that are using it right now, and I've recently locked in 3 people, and I'm so excited for them because the rate is the same rate as like a regular FHA loan. Oh, so wow. You're getting free money, right? You're getting 4%, like not just free, you're getting 4% of what you're purchasing the house to pay for all of your down payment. And then you can get the seller to pay your closing costs. So legitimately you can get into the house without having to pay a dime. Wow. The only thing you have to do, yeah, I know, right? Like I'm super excited for the people that are doing this. The only thing you have to do is you have to put down earnest money when you buy a house, but because you have the grant paying your down payment, and then you have the seller paying your closing costs, you're going to get that money back at closing. My God. So
Amber, can I talk to you after we're done with this for me? Because I think I need to take advantage of that.
Yes, let's do it.
Awesome. So thank you for that. I was talking a little bit about that. I'm going to ask a few questions because there's been some really good questions that have come up, if that's okay with you. Somebody just asked, Stephanie Barr just said, hey, Stephanie from LinkedIn, thanks for joining us. She said, how does the process work if I want to use equity on my current home as my down payment? I just realized I can show these questions. I forgot about that. How does it work if I want to use equity on my down payment on the new one?
Okay, so if you want to use it, I mean, that's beautiful. You don't need a grant program if you're going to do that. So if you're going to sell your house first, you're going to sell it first. We're going to take that equity from the house that you have and then put it on the new one. You can decide how much you want to put down. If you want to put down all of it, if you want to put down some of it and pay off bills with the other, or like put some in your bank account. One thing too, to kind of think about, if you haven't listed your house already, there's a program called the Bridge Program. So you could buy a house without selling your current house by utilizing the Bridge Program. This way, we're using a bridge loan to take out the money, to take out the equity on the house that you're selling, and then we're going to apply it to the house that you're purchasing. So, I mean, we can talk about that program. I'm not sure if you've sold your house yet or listed it or not, but the Bridge Program is an amazing way to accomplish what you're looking to accomplish without the fear of having to worry about being homeless in between houses.
Amber, what if they don't want to sell their house and they just want to cash out some equity and keep that house, rent it out, do whatever they're doing? How does that work?
So what I would suggest in this market today is do a home equity line of credit. So you could do it's called a HELOC, right? So you're going to take a HELOC out for the amount of money that you're wanting to put down on the new house, and that's how you would access it. That's the easiest way right now to do it.
With your team on that, is that right?
Yeah, well, I don't actually do the HELOC. We are opening HELOCs pretty soon. We just haven't opened them yet. But I have the referral sources where I can give you to make sure that they're doing everything for you.
Awesome. Great question. Thank you, Belinda. That was amazing. Stephanie. All right, we've got people saying Jace says, just got back from a Vegas trip for house hunting with Lacey and the team. The competition has gotten easier. You do still need to have the ability to make an offer fast or so to be in contract. So that's really good. Thanks, Jace. Thanks for coming in town, by the way. We love you guys and super excited that they're doing this. I wanted to just highlight Martha G. She made a really interesting comment. She said, I was trying to buy back in May. With all that out-of-pocket money, it was crazy. Couldn't do it. The competition was pretty tough. Great news for you, Martha. The tides have turned in your favor. So if you were trying back in May, please call our team today. Please click the link in the description or at the top of these comments. We want to help you. We desperately want to help you because now is the time. And if you were already trying in May, that means you have the momentum behind you to pick right back up and go from there. So really great point. Okay, let's see here. We've got, give us your current 30 fixed year rate, how much it's to buy down. I know we're not allowed to really quote rates because it is different for each and every person. Can you give us ranges of what we're seeing today as far as 30-year fixed and how much it would be to buy down? 1 point gets me about how much of a rate reduction. That's kind of a question I'm seeing more and more.
Yeah, I can give you ranges and I can kind of tell you how much a buy down costs. I can't go over specific rates until we look at.
I think you're a little fuzzy. So sorry for the bad video, but
okay?
I can hear you okay though. So keep going. We're good.
Okay. So as far as like the interest rates, you can hear me okay, right?
Yep. It's a little broken, but yes.
Okay. So the interest rates, I can't really talk about them online because everything's different. It's all dependent on your Fico score, your debt ratio. There's a lot of things that come into play. What type of loan program we're doing. There's a lot of things that come into play when we're doing a mortgage, but what they're doing right now is the rates on like FHA loans are kind of in the high 5 range. That can change at any time because inflation, as it takes over, then things kind of move a little bit more. And then conventional loans are in the 6s. That's pretty much what I can say right now. If you're going to look to buy it down, I would look at a couple different buy down aspects. So if you're going to do a straight buy down, like a permanent buy down on the interest rate, it's 0.25% it's 1% that you pay for 0.25% in rate. Does that make sense?
So 1% you pay to get you a quarter down, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's then, good. But one thing,
to be able to give out to people, that's great.
Yeah, for sure. But again, that does change daily too because the market's all crazy sometimes right now. One thing I would definitely look at right now, and something that's being kind of overlooked is the 2-1 buy down. So what we know is the rates are going like this right now because of the feds, right? The minute they curb inflation, they're going to have to then stimulate the economy, so then the rates will go down. It's like a little roller coaster game that we're playing, right? So what I would do is, if you're going to get money from the seller, I would use that money to do a 2-1 buy down. What that means is the seller's going to pay for you to buy your rate down 2% the first year, then 1% the second year, and then the third year and after it would be the normal rate. But that gets you through this little storm that we're going through, and I mean, still kind of get you in the same place with home purchasing.
I love it. Awesome. I did have somebody asked earlier. I thought I'd run back to this question because I touched on it, but I want to make sure that I answered it correctly. How is the credit valued for international buyers? Thank you, Thomas. Appreciate you coming from Facebook.
So international buyers, typically you don't have it. If you have a social security in the United States, then you have a credit score. If you don't have a social security in the United States and you're still living overseas, then we would look at it like a foreign national loan. So we don't even look at your credit in that place. It's considered a foreign national loan, where it's different guidelines for it that you have to give us.
And I had also said, you've helped a lot of clients. You're still breaking up a little bit, so I don't know if there's Mercury retrograde's just giving us a run.
It's killing me today.
Okay, but I know that I had said you'd also helped a lot of international buyers set up credit in the United States in the past, and I know that there's been help with that as well. So just wasn't sure if you were still doing that or if that was still an option.
No, I am, but the first thing you have to do when you're an international buyer to set up credit is you have to obtain a social security number.
Right. Okay. That's awesome. All right. What other new home programs are there that we can talk about? There are definitely some other questions I'm going to get to. So please drop your questions in the comments below. We're going to be on probably another 10 minutes as we continue to talk about this so that we can keep our schedule for today. We appreciate you guys joining us. Again, free money is available, not only from the sellers, not only from the builders, but there are free money programs coming out each and every week, all kinds of new stuff at all times. You don't have to be down and out and broke off your butt to be able to take advantage of them. Some of them are awesome, and they apply to areas of the city. They apply to types of jobs you do. They apply to income, things like that. What's something else you can talk about, Amber?
So, well, there's another free money program. This one kind of gets overlooked too. So this one's more for rural areas, but the southwest side of town, like Southern Highlands, like Rose Ranch area, that area of town, it actually fits in this program. So this one, it has a higher limit to what you can, like what you make. So some of them are very restrictive to what you can make, right? Yes. This one goes higher. So a lot of people can fit into this program, and it's for specific areas of town. So just because, like, if we look at the first time home buyer program and let's say you make too much money for it, we can look at putting you into a program like this, because they do have it. It's in nice areas, to be honest with you. I mean, the southwest side of town is a beautiful area, right? So it fits in that area, but then it still can get you in your house without having to put down payment down. So like right now, I'm just trying, like the grant programs are what seem to be what people are looking for right now. Like that's what I'm getting a lot of phone calls for. The other one.
Go ahead.
The other program I'm getting a lot of calls for lately, and sorry to cut you off, Lacey. I love it when we're sitting next to each other and can rub shoulders.
We're kind of doing it here, huh?
Oh yeah, we can do it. Oh, wait, this way, huh? The other program I'm seeing a lot is if you're self-employed. Sometimes self-employed people think, well, I wrote off a lot of my taxes, I can't get a house. I'm doing a lot of bank statement programs right now. Right. So a lot of people that are self-employed, you write off a lot of your taxes, you've been told no not to get a house. You can provide your bank statements for 12 to 24 months, depending on programs. And then we can take the deposits on those bank statements to calculate how much you make and get you into a house that way. I'm doing a lot more of those than I ever used to do before.
We've had a lot of people, naysayers, who are crossing their fingers for the crash, which makes me so sad because, it just doesn't work well for anybody. Even the person who gets a house for $40,000, it doesn't work well for anybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, a lot of people are doing the whole, oh, we're seeing these weird programs come out just like the last time there was a crash. Oh, that sounds familiar. That sounds like a 2-1 ARM program that I got me, had to
Totally different.
was last time. So what would you say to the people who are searching for the crash, but really more than anything, who are really thinking that these things sound like they once were?
Well, I mean, for people searching for the crash, like, here's what I'm looking at. Because I mean, honestly, I'll be honest with you. If I feel like there's a crash coming, I would tell you, like, hey, let's hold off right now, right? But here's the deal: the market is very manipulated. So the feds, they raise the rates to calm the market down. Once the market calms down, then they lower the rates. We already saw that during COVID. They needed to speed up the market. So what they do, they lower the rates to crazy levels, and then we had floods of people coming in, right? Yep. So right now, the minute that market starts to get close to like crash territory, or not even crash territory, but it starts to go down, all it has to be done is one swoop move down to where, and then people start
to do this. It was one quick move, it happened overnight almost,
Yeah, and they've been playing with this for years, so they know exactly how to get people to come and go on the rates. So like if you kind of look at it like that, we're in a manipulated market. Let me figure out what my game is, because it's all a game right now. Right? As far as the loan programs, the programs that we had back then, I used to tell people, if you're breathing, you can get a loan, because there was no discrimination on loans at all. Like you could get if you didn't have any money, that's fine, 100% financing. You had a 500 FICO score, still 100% financing. Oh, if you couldn't show any income that you made, oh, that's okay, stated income, no doc, whatever. Like there was loans for everything. There wasn't anything truthful happening. Everybody was just saying, oh, here's what I make, or whatever. Right now, you have to full doc qualify for those loans. Programs like bank statement files, those have been out for years. This isn't a new thing that's out. I've been doing those for years. It's just during COVID, a lot of those people didn't come out for whatever reason, right? So you're still proving your income some way or another. It's not like it was before with stated income. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. So I want to clarify, because someone had said, so you're saying Southern Highlands is considered an underserved area with lower incomes. Good to know. Is that really what you were saying with that program, or is that what you're saying in terms of that what they're applying that program to?
No, that's not considered an underserved area. That program is for rural areas. So it's considered rural in their whatever their rule book is for rural.
Right, because it is back up to the mountains. It is on the outskirts of town. By outskirts, we mean 16 minutes from the strip. So how outskirts can that be? But so we're not saying that area is lower incomes and that it's underserved. We're saying they assigned the area that is rural, meaning that it's still being developed and it's closer to the edge of town versus the center.
Yeah, but great question. Thank you for bringing that up.
Stephanie Barr's asking a question about listing her house. So I know Stephanie's the one who was talking about listing or possibly taking some equity out. Is it better to make basic repairs and updates, paint floors, etc., prior to listing, or adjust the list price accordingly so the buyers can make their own changes and choices? From a listing agent perspective, we do a lot of listings on our team. I always think you need to put your best foot forward with that house when you list it. So you don't know what the other person's going to assume a floor could cost or assume paint could cost. And a lot of people who are buying houses, especially now, don't have the money to come in and make the changes on their own. So the best thing to do is put your best foot forward. If it needs to be painted, let's get it painted. If it needs to have new floors put in, let's get some new neutral floors put in. But we never, ever are going to tell you to go renovate the entire house and then list it for sale, because that's eating away at your equity, and it may be eating into your savings and money that you need to be using to live on. So what we try to do is we'll come in and take an assessment of the house and walk through. We'll look at comparables in the neighborhood. If all the neighborhood has brand new marble top this and brand new stainless steel, and you're literally going up against the best of the best, the cream of the crop, then we're going to tell you we need to probably elevate, because your house might just have basic upgrades, right? If you are one of the better looking houses in town without doing much, then we're going to tell you to do the bare minimum. But we would love to be able to help you make that decision and walk through the house and give you our guidance, because I'm telling you right now, I don't ever want you to spend more than $5 if you don't have to. But trying to assume because here's what will happen. You have a house that's listed that's got a little bit of an outdated kitchen, and the person comes in and they see that, they may think the little bit of an outdated kitchen is worth a $20,000 reduction, and you might have had in your mind it was worth a $5,000 reduction. So you can never read the minds of your buyers. So you always want to put your best foot forward and find the buyer that loves the house as it is. Good question.
Love that answer.
Stephanie, I hope that I'm going to hear from you, because this sounds like you are ready to make some moves in your life. And I would love nothing more than to meet you in person, but also to discuss kind of these options. I would love also for you to not have to sell your house and to be able to cash out some of that equity and really see if you can hang on to more than just one piece of property. We're always big believers in helping you guys understand that you can build a portfolio. You don't have to be a big investor to have a portfolio of real estate that's working for you in the future and building your little nest egg, right?
So true. And rents are so good right now.
Oh my God. People are paying like $2,000 for a 1-bedroom is what someone told us earlier. And I'm going to tell you right now, if I don't hear from, who was that said that? I'm going to look back. If I don't hear from the person who told us that she was paying $2,000, Ariana, $2,000 for a 1-bedroom. If I don't hear from you, we have a problem. Okay. Same thing with you. Stephanie, please reach out. Let us chat with you. Would love, love, love to help you out. Okay. Amber, give me some more free money. What else you got?
Well, I just want to plug again that because I've talked to the grant programs all the time. Like I try to find out what's coming out, what's doing here. I mean, if you're a culinary worker, there's grants for you out there. So if you're a culinary worker or something like that, let's look at those grants, right? Like if you're and when that new grant comes out within a week or two, I'm hoping it's soon, because come on, it's like killing me right now waiting.
Elevating.
Yes. But when that comes out, we're definitely going to talk about it. Another thing is there's another program where you can get $2,500. There's actually a lot of programs out there. So let's talk about it, see where your income's at. Depending on where your income is depending on how much we can get in a grant program.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm super stoked. I know we had some issues with our technology today. Thank you, Retrograde.
Yes.
But I'm grateful that you were able to click through, because obviously when you deliver a hard punch, and I appreciate it. We go live once a week. So for anybody watching, we normally do this on Wednesdays, and we will probably continue that plan. Wednesday afternoons have been really fortunate and lucky for us. We want you to tune in. So stay tuned to both of our channels. If you're not subscribed on YouTube, do it now, because that's where we do a lot of this. We are going to be going live on a lot of these platforms that you're seeing us on today a lot more often. So stay tuned to make sure you're liking, commenting, subscribing. Amber, I'm so grateful for you to be my partner in crime. Well, not even in crime, my partner in good.
All good things, right? I'm grateful
for the crime of the people who are, helping you guys be fearful. We want you to be greedy while others are fearful, and fearful while others are greedy. Thank you, Warren Buffett. We love you for that quote. Please let us know if there's any questions we can answer for you directly. And really the best way to do that is what, Amber?
Well, do we have a link below right now? So we click the link below?
Click the link below.
Okay, just want to make sure click the link below.
Click the link below. We are in the description of this video, or at the top of the comments box. I put all of our info. One more plug for me. Please, please, please vote for me now. I am running for best realtor in Las Vegas, and I need to win. You can vote each and every day from multiple platforms. And I think you can vote as many times as you want, as long as you have different phones, different browsers, and different iPads and computers. So, you have a few seconds, spend some time and send me a couple of votes. I would love to win this year. And I'm just showcasing what we do is different for a reason. We know it's the way it should be done. So I think I'm getting. Oh, go ahead, babe.
I got to tell you, one of your clients earlier this week, and she said, "You know what? I've been going on and voting for Lacey because she deserves it."
Thank you, Thelma. I think I know who that is. Is that Thelma?
No, Thelma was one that I talked to, but this was another one as well. What? So
awesome. Awesome. I'm getting total feedback from you, so I'm going to mute you for a second, Amber. Sorry about that. Thank you, Thelma. Thank you to whoever the other person is for voting for me. Just, I'm not even one that normally asks for this, but I love it, and I would love nothing more than to brandish that all over, to let people know the reason we do it differently is because it is the best way to do it. So, Amber, I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who tuned in today. If you're watching this on a replay, please know that, we're still here, even though we're not live and in charge on the video at that time. We're still here for you. And that's kind of what we prefer. We prefer a one-to-one kind of exchange. So don't be afraid to click that link in the description. Don't be afraid to reach out. We're not going to pressure you. It is a no judgment zone, my friends. Your credit could be the worst as possible. You could have no income, nothing. Samuel Jackson just said, Lacey will run for mayor in the future. You bet your ass, Sam. I certainly will. But other than that, we just want to say thank you so much. And I guess until next time, how about you, Amber? Oh, shoot. There we go.
Thank you guys for everything. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your questions. We're happy to help you with anything that you need. Don't wait. Like if there's a game plan, let's work it for you.
I'm working a game plan and you should be too. All right. We'll see you next time, everybody.